Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Hola, everybody. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. How are you doing?
Having a wonderful
I am having a wonderful day. At the beginning, it was a little bit of a rough day because I don't know why I've been struggling to wake up in the morning. Pero ya después afterwards, I had a good day.
After you woke up, ya estabas un poquito
Yeah,
así
I was
mejor.
a little bit better. And, work has been really busy lately. So I've been kind of like actually busy.
Pero that's good porque los te va el día más rápido.
Se te va rápido, yeah. So I think from like the morning to lunch is always the fastest. And then after that, you're like, oh,
it
shit.
drags.
Yeah, it drags. And then we went on, my husband and I are on a hot girl walk journey. He's not hot girl, but I am. And so we went on a really quick walk before we started recording. And it's so beautiful outside.
It is nice.
It is so pretty.
I saw somebody posted that was like, enjoy, be outside during the nice weather while you can. Because like in a couple of months, we're going to be rotisserie chickens in an oven.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, whenever we were walking back, the mosquitoes were like, we had to run.
Y luego son
they're
esos
everywhere.
big ass mosquitoes.
Yes.
I'm like, get out of my face. ¿Esos te pican o no?
Sí, eran mosquitoes. Y luego you can see that they're growing out of the water and shit.
Yeah.
It's like mutates.
Y luego cortaron el zacate y todo.
Cortaban
la madre,
zacate, todos los pinches mosquitoes. And then you can see them, bro. And my husband and I were like, let's run. So we started running from them because they were all over our legs.
¿Se fueron caminando?
No, we were running up and down the
trail.
The trail, yeah. Pero it's really pretty out there. But
here, at least.
Well, here at least. I don't know how it's everywhere else. I know in Dallas yesterday they had really bad like tornadoes and stuff. That's so crazy.
I know there was like a windstorm.
Yes.
A sandstorm, I'm sorry.
A sandstorm. And they had one in Midland too. Like, que no se miraba. And my nephew sent me a video que se cree pinches noticias 45 saying que he was reporting from...
he's a meteorologist?
He's a meteorologist.
He's a storm chaser.
He's a storm chaser. Estaba anaranjado afuera. It looked so creepy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But everything has been okay. I think lately, this weekend was crazy. I was crazy everywhere. It wasn't too crazy. It was just a long day. My daughter had dance competition. So I know there's dance moms out there. Dance competitions are all day.
Yeah.
Y luego you go and then you see them and you see like all the dances and then you're like, oh, you're not really that good. And then you're like,
you could do better.
You know? So yeah, but we had a good time and it's like all day makeup, todo el día. Y luego,
changing.
Se le cayó la eyelash and you have to go glue it back on. And then, you're not wearing enough blush. You need more. Y ahí estás echándole más, you know? And then the girls are like, we look like clowns. I'm like, yeah, that's what you need.
It needs to pop. It needs to pop.
Yeah, but it was really awesome. And they did win a few first place. So she did good. And other than that, we had a good weekend, pero busy.
Yeah. If anybody cares, I went to my Pilates class last week. You know how I said I was going to go? It went well. It's not, it's an intro class. También no te van a poner a hacer.
Pero sí estaban las máquinas, ¿o no?
Pues sí, yeah, we got on the máquinas.
You did?
On the reformers. And then they were telling us, the instructor, they were like, well, you have to get cleared by the instructor to go up and like in, I guess, like a harder class, depending on.
Oh my God.
You just can't be like, ponme a class that's really hard.
Like if they pick you for a team and shit?
No way.
Oh.
No, like if you want to, there's obviously beginner, intermediate, like expert. You just can't move up into like the next level if you're, there's no way to be like, I'm going to go enroll for like an expert class. No, bitch.
I wouldn't want to anyway, pero they'll probably be like, you're in the zero of the negative zero. Or I'll be like, oh, okay. Because we try Pilates on mats, and it's hard. So I can just imagine with the...
I was a little sore, not going to lie, for my arms. Because tienes que agarrar las esas, and then you have to,
Wow. That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's a cute little intro class.
My husband and I have been working on his weight loss journey. Both of ours. I'm always on a weight loss journey, but he's been kind of helping me, too, because I've been pushing myself to go walking and that. And he lost 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And I gained weight. I'm like, okay, great, thanks. And I'm all like, you can do it, being all like supportive and shit. Y luego, I didn't lose shit.
And he takes all the support from you and your energy, and then he loses it in pounds, and you're just like...
And I'm all like, that could have been me, but it's not.
But then you're also on your period, so...
True, but it's okay still. I mean, it is what it is, but we're just...
He's always been that way, though.
Yeah, he just, like, before, like, we would do keto and he would just eat what I would eat. It wasn't like we were, like...
He was trying. You were.
I was trying, and I was, like, working out and all this shit, and then, like, cocinándome, eating every 2 hours and all of that. Y luego él comía nada más, like, casually eat what I would eat, and then he would just wait. I'm like, what the...
And then he would tell you.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I lost 5 pounds. I'm like, you're so fucking funny. But anyways... Today we are going to a place called Romeoville, Romeoville, Illinois. Illinois. Romeo como Romeo.
Ville. Like Farmville.
Farmville, Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we've been there, but...
We've been to Illinois.
Yeah. Pero not...
I've never heard of Romeoville.
I know. But it's gonna be a good one today. So I think that if you would like to listen to us and go to Romeoville with us, go ahead and grab that cafecitos.
Sí, y hay que, pues, let's go.
Vámonos.
Let's get started.
So today we will, like I said, we'll be going to Romeoville, Illinois. And the fact that I found about Romeoville was that it is a suburb of Chicago. So it's it's located in Will County. It's only about 26 miles southwest from downtown Chicago. It's actually, this is crazy. It's originally known as Romeo, like it was Romeo.
Where art thou?
Yes.
Like Romeo and Juliet. I was trying to say that line, pero no me salió.
So it actually originally was Romeo. The village was incorporated after 1895 because it was, I think after a while, they were like, it was getting kind of messed up with the whole Romeo and Juliet because they are actually a neighboring city to Juliet.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's cool, though. Yeah. Like, they should have left it, but I'm sure they had their reasons.
They were referencing to the Shakespearean characters, Romeo and Juliet, but they changed it, and so now it's...
They just added the veil.
Romeoville, yeah. And so this is going to bring us... Now, this case, I am going to discuss children, and so I just want to let you know, if you're not in the mind space for that, it's okay. It's children's death, and So we'll talk to you in the next one. So we're going to go to Sunday, September the 17th of 2023. Okay. Around 8:43 p.m. when the Romeoville police received a phone call from a mother that had not heard from her 32-year-old daughter. Her name is Zoraida. Now, her last name is Bartolomei. Okay. Because at the end is M-E-I. So it's Bartolomei. Right?
But you're saying it in Spanish? Or
I think she was Hispanic. Is Zoraida Bartolomei.
Okay. And
Bartolomei, maybe. Yeah. And her mother was calling to see if they can do a welfare check on her daughter because she had not been answering her calls all day. Now, it's not usual since she has 2 kids and her mom was always, calling them after school how their day was and that kind of thing. So she was used to speaking to her daughter, and she was always quick to respond. Also, Zoraida's mother had gotten word that Zoraida's husband, also 38-year-old Alberto Roland, had not shown up for work that day at 6 a.m. in the morning. So then that's when she's like, well, something's weird.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're on a body cam, and the police mentioned that they were discussing what they were going to go do at this place. So you can see the cops walking up, and they ended up
to the house
of Zoraida and her husband, Alberto, or her family. Alberto and their 2 boys live there, 10-year-old Adriel and 7-year-old Diego, along with 3 dogs. When they got to the home, it was dark, and you can see que había 2 carros estacionados. There was 2 cars parked outside, and it was really awkward because we're talking about the cops were actually going back and forth and saying they have 3 dogs. They have 3 dogs.
They could hear the dogs on the inside, or
you couldn't hear nothing.
Oh, I guess que le dijo la mamá cuando les habló. Like, you would think that you would be hearing.
Yes. So something was odd already. There was no noise from any dogs, and there was no movement. Estaba todo apagado, all of the lights. By this time, like I said, it's almost 9 o'clock at night. It was just silent, but they had only moved there a few months ago, so maybe, they were having a hard time with the lights, or you never know. So Zoraida's mother contacted the police, but also she contacted her Zoraida's brother that lived kind of close to there. So he was on his way to look for her himself, and see if he could get any information. The officers did get there before Zoraida's brother, and while they knocked and nobody answered the door. So like I mentioned before, all the lights are on and the cops are just like knocking.
All the lights are on or off?
Off, excuse me. And everybody, just knocking, and they're like, hello, is anybody there? You know how it is. And so then like I mentioned before, they started looking around like in las ventanas to see if they could see anything. Because at this point they're like, okay, there should be 3 dogs. They're still kind of feeling uneasy about this. So when looking closer, they were able to see what looked like a TV that was knocked over and also a coffee table.
Oh, shit.
That's when they were like, okay, something's going on. So then the cops started requesting, you can hear them say, hey, we need backup. And they mention the place or whatever. And they started to go around the house to the back door and to start looking at the windows on the side of the house. When they're walking to the backyard, they continued to do the same thing, just noticed. They're like, okay, so they're expecting these dogs, right? So when one of the cops got closer to the window, it's like they had like a little porch entrance, y luego estaba una puerta and then another door inside, and that one led into the house. And so when they were able to get that far is when they saw that 2 of the dogs were laying dead at the door.
Oh,
at the back door. So then they were like, okay, now they started saying, hey, 2 dead dogs, TV is down, we got to get inside. So they decided to enter, but they needed to be careful. So everyone went back to the police car and they started to get their stuff to prepare, to, I guess, break the door down or go inside. So they were all sure to be geared up and everything to go. You can hear in the recording que se oye que once they started calling for backup, EMS is on its way and you can hear them. So they said, let's go through the back door because that's where they saw the dogs, right? So one of the other cops was like, try the door because that way, because he was going to break it down and the door was open. They go inside and this is when they walked into something unimaginable. They found all 3 dogs dead. Walking towards inside the house is where you also find Rolando deceased in the walkway. Como que he was walking in the, I guess like where coming out to the living room and he was shot dead there. He wasn't moving. And then also all the dogs, I wanted to mention this because it seemed like all the dogs were at the door and there was marks of them trying to get out.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
So then they found Alberto in the hallway with multiple bullet wounds to the back. And also he was in a pool of blood. And it seemed like he was trying to run. Like
get away.
Yeah. They made it into the bedroom and the door had been kicked open, and there was evidence of struggle. It looked like Zoraida had tried to protect the door closed, but it was not successful. So on her, there was signs of fight on her body, but she was also found with her hands covering her face. And she had been shot multiple times and she was also deceased. This is where it gets hard. They go into the boys' room. Obviously, they know that the boys' room is there next. And it seemed like the boys were sleeping with their parents sometimes. So they had beds in there. And they were...
En el cuarto de los parents.
And they were both shot dead as well.
Oh my God.
In their beds. So it looked like she was trying to protect her kids. And it was something that the cops just couldn't get over. The kids were executed, basically. So... there was shell casings all over the house, Estela. I mean, nobody tried, to at least pick one up. Like, they were just everywhere. At that point, the cops are saying, okay, so what's going on? What happened? So it seemed like whoever had done this, they were there and they knew exactly what they were doing and they were in and out.
Yeah, they didn't care to, like you said, clean up or
anything. The only thing that was left was a message on one of the walls. There was a spray painted F.
What?
Like in black. I don't know what that meant, but it was in the living room. Zoraida's brother ended up showing up later and to his sister's home, and he was surprised when he saw the police. And then the police had to tell him what they found. And, like, he had to give the family
the news.
Yeah.
Wow.
The neighborhood was so quiet, and everyone around them spoke about how sweet the family was, how the boys were very good, like how that didn't happen there in Romeoville. Like, it was a very, like, new, so it was like a new division.
It was like a suburb, right? You said, like,
Sí.
and it was really, like, and it was a newer.
Yeah, so las casas apenas, like, las estaban haciendo. There wasn't, like, a lot of people there. But, like, a lot of the ladies that they did interview were like, we just can't believe that this happened. We just saw them a few days ago. They were playing outside with the ball. You know, it was just hard for them too. Now, as their family was shocked, I mean, who would do this? Like, there was...
And it's like one thing to, when you want to kill, let's say, an adult, right? Like, you killed the mom or the dad, but you went after children.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing is, like, they were never in trouble. Both of them had a stable job. Both of the parents, they didn't owe anybody anything that they know of. The family is like, why? We don't understand why. They weren't like...
Like, it wasn't a robbery.
Yeah,
like,
or they
weren't
in
steal.
drugs. Like, you know, they were like a stable family.
Normal family.
Y como dijo one of the neighbors, we're just trying to make it out here. And it's true. They didn't even own guns, Estela. Like, they weren't like people of like violence at all. That doesn't mean that if you own a gun, you have violence. But I'm just saying, like, they didn't
even have that, you know,
Investigators started to question if this could have been a murder-suicide. Since Alberto had been found in the living room and he was not
shot in the back.
And he was not in the bedroom with his wife and his kids. But because of the scene, there was no way. The way that he had fell over, it looked like he was trying to get to the room to save his family. It was no way that he would have done that to himself. So he had been shot multiple times in the back. You know, so he was trying to run towards them, basically. So they were also determined that the dogs were horrified because they were trying to leave and they pooped themselves.
Oh,
trying to leave. And they found 2 of the dogs in la puerta and one of them was in the room with the family. So at this point, they're saying, okay, so what happened? So they find out that the murder had to have happened anywhere between 9 p.m. Sunday and 5 a.m. 9 p.m. Saturday to 9 a.m. Sunday, meaning that was the time of lapse that they had. So Romeoville police did ask for backup from the FBI and the ATF and the DEA because they were like,
we don't even know where to
start. And then they're like, okay, so was this like a cartel thing? Like, because they literally like slaughtered these people. Like, you know.
And again, I know we said just the kids. Like, you usually do that to adults, but they did it to kids and they did it to the family pets. Like, who does that?
Yeah, like if you're...
Like, you just wiped up the whole family.
The whole family,
and their pets.
So the boys were very much loved at school, like I said before, by their classmates. And they all struggled so much to, you know, understand the news of the deaths. And they just didn't... They wanted to know why, what happened. Zoraida's sister wrote and on her social media, and I quote, "I want to know what happened to my nephews, my sister, and her husband. Why? They were shot and killed at their home," end quote. And then putting in there, like, if you have any information, please contact the police. When questioning the family, investigators did learn that Zoraida had been having an affair with a coworker.
Oh, shit.
Okay. They also
What did she do?
She worked at a company. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, sorry.
They also learned that this was not the first time that she had cheated on her husband. So apparently she had actually cheated multiple times, but her husband knew about the situation and he and her still try to work it out and they were trying to move forward.
And like you said, it's not like he was the one that killed the family and then did it, you know, killed himself. Like, no. That wasn't the case.
No. So this time the family said that this guy was a little bit different because she was talking about how madly in love she was with him. And this guy... The most current one.
Affair.
Yes. This guy's name is, the guy is a 32-year-old Nathaniel Huey Jr. I'm going to call him by Nathaniel, but a lot of the videos or things that I read would call him by Nate. I guess that was like his shorter. So if I accidentally say Nate, that's why.
Him. Yeah.
They had been seeing each other since May of 2023. And they worked at the Avanti Engineering. It was a machine auto part or like a machinist parts like manufacturing company, like a factory.
So when did this take place?
So the actual murders were in September of 2023.
So from May to September, they had only been seeing. They have been seeing each other, what, like 4 or 5 months?
Yes. Like I said before, Zoraida had told her sister that Nathaniel was her soulmate. She was in love with him. Yeah. She said that, and this is not funny, but this is kind of makes, I don't know why, but she actually, and I quote, says that she was the Juliet to his, and he was her Romeo. Shakespeare's all over the story.
No, because that's not how the story goes.
So we're going to talk about the murder, We're going to talk about the murder, obviously. So who is the first suspect that they contact whenever a woman is killed?
The husband.
The husband or the lover.
Yeah, the lover.
Or the partner, right? So police went to go talk to Nathan at work, actually.
Nathan or Nathaniel?
Nathaniel.
Nate?
I'm going to call him Nathaniel because I wrote Nathaniel, so I don't know why. And when they went up to him, they actually saw, the police noticed that there was a Post-it note at his machine or wherever he was working. And
on his post at work?
At work. And it was a Post-it note and it said, it looked like it said Zoraida's name on it. And it said, "You mean so much to me. Like, I don't think you understand how much I actually love you."
So who left him that note? We're trying to say that Zoraida left him that note? Mm-hmm.
But it was out in the open, so
did they not care that people?
I guess not. Like, I'm guessing that was my next thing. It was like, it seems like they were not hiding.
Which I think is wild that people do that.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've heard of
things that happen like that.
Yeah, I watch Complete Side Story, like little side tangent real quick, but I don't know if you watch this podcast called Noche de Chicks.
No.
Okay, so she is like una pijamada. She always has a guest. The host, her name is Shanique, and she always has a guest, and she gets like chismes exclusivos sent to her.
Wow.
And then, because she's like, a mí me gusta el chisme. Te gusta el chisme, you know, chisme brings everybody together.
Let's talk about it.
And then sometimes, and the other chismes are, you know, some that get plugged from the internet. But she's like, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've heard just of every case scenario that you can think of as far as like cheating partners and so on. Pero I know at one point she was like, you hear that a lot about coworkers. Mm-hmm. Obviously it happens because obviously you spend a lot of time at work, you know, more than you do at home. Pero the fact that other people know, and you know that other people know, but you don't give a fuck?
No. Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, whenever I've seen a lot of cases where the in-laws know that for example, that my husband would be cheating on me and you would know and you wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
Or the mom, or would cover.
Yeah, your mom would
would cover. And I'm like, how is that? Like, what kind of respect is that for anybody? No matter if whatever it is, like, it could be you.
Well, not the fact that you're not. Obviously, we're not saying that because she was cheating on her husband, she deserved what happened to her. No, we're not saying that. She might be immoral, but she's not committing a crime, technically. ¿Verdad? Pero, like, saying, okay, if you want to have an affair, hay que decir, pues, have your affair. But a lot of people try to cover it up. They're not out in the open.
She was out in the open, and she
has a family, and she has 2 kids.
And she talked to her sister about how much she loved this guy. Like, she was in love. Yeah.
And la sister que le decía?
Pues,
Bitch, you're crazy?
No sé.
And then, do you know, are you going to go into, I'm just curious, was he also in a relationship or
we're
married?
About to go into that, cool, yeah. Cool. So I guess it seemed like Zoraida's husband knew that she had been doing that. And
you said that she had previously had affairs already.
So, but he just wanted to keep the family together.
Yeah.
So when questioning Nathaniel, they told him that they knew about the affair that they had found out. And he's like, yeah, the police told him, you know, we understand that you're married and you have a wife too. So,
oh shit.
Yeah. It turns out that he's in a relationship, at least. This is so far what I knew at this moment. So
he was just in a relationship, or también estaba casado?
We'll get back to that in a minute. And so then I even wrote, we will get back to that in a bit. They asked protocol questions, like what car do you drive? And he said, I drive a GMC Denali. And then they asked him what color, and he said it. And then he said, okay, so have you ever been contacted by Zoraida's husband? Because at this point now they know that he's been in a relationship with Zoraida. And
that the husband knew.
The husband knew. And he's like, no, I never talked to him. And then they asked him if he knew... Did Zoraida's husband knew that they were in a relationship? And he said, I don't know. And then they asked him, did you have anything to do with what happened at the house? And he's like, no, I have no idea what happened to them, or, you know.
He wasn't involved.
And so then they were like, well, did you guys get into a fight? What is the basically trying to find out if they had beef or something, you know? And he's like, no, nobody was fighting. We were in peace. I guess just cheating, whatever. And he did say that nobody was threatening her and that she was a very, very sweet angel. That's all he said about her. Police asks again, fine, we get it, but we need to clear you. So can we see your phone? Like, let us have your phone. We can just look at it and whatever. And that's when he's like not having it.
Oh.
Like, no, wait a minute. And then they're like, look, we're going to find out anyway. Just give us your phone. We're going to find out, we're going to get a warrant, whatever it is. Just, we don't care what you're looking at. Just hand it over. Basically, saying.
Like, what are you trying to hide?
No, and then the cop even tells them, like, they were really good cops. Like, in all of the story that I listened, because a lot of this that I got was from camps,
body
camps. Y todos los cops, they were so understanding, and they were like, hey, we understand that you're married. We know that you don't, or in a relationship or whatever
you're
it is.
cheating on your spouse or whatever.
But but they're like, we don't want to mess that up. We're just trying to find out what happened to this family, you know?
And I think that's a little bit more important than you covering up that you were cheating with.
Exactly. And so he pauses and he says, no. He's like, how about I go by later and I'll bring you my phone another time. And even the policeman was like, dude, I know what you're trying to do, but even if you erase it, we're still going to find it.
Yeah.
Basically is what they said. Él les dice que no, que después del trabajo, he's going to stop and he's going to drop off the phone. So they're like, okay, so we're getting a warrant, basically is what they said. So Nathaniel said that he could show them y le sacó el phone and he was like, look, this is when I last texted her. And the cop is like, no, I want your phone.
He's like, no, but look over here.
Aquí, if you want to look here. And the cop is like,
he's like, no, but this is my call contact, my call log.
No.
You want me to screenshot it and send it to you?
No, we want the phone.
You can see it from across the table.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. He literally had his phone like this and he was like, you see this? And the cop is like, no, we want the phone. And so then le dice, well, you can have my computer, his work computer. And then the cop is like, no. Why do I want your work computer if I can have your phone? I can see everything immediately. I don't need to be going through breaking stuff.
Or your work emails or something.
And then he's like, no. And so they even tell him, well, you know what this is doing for you? It's making you look guilty.
Or like you're hiding something.
Like you're hiding something.
Yeah.
And he's like, he didn't care. He didn't care. So we're going to go ahead and stop a little bit of talking about that. I'm going to kind of go into who Nathaniel is and a little bit of his past. So while looking into him, the police finds out that he had previously owned a private security company called Black Bear Security.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, he was in a long-term relationship with a woman that's 8 years older than him. Her name is Ermelinda Palomo. And they had been together for 8 years. And they actually lived together. And Ermelinda had children around the age of Nathaniel.
Wait, how old was Nathaniel?
Nathaniel's 33, 32 por ahí. And she's 50.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she actually had kids around his age. And she already had grandchildren.
Damn, so she was like 12 when she had her first child?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Their relationship was rocky. They didn't have a good relationship. But there were reports that Nathaniel had cheated on her a lot of times. Like he was a cheater, and Ermelinda is on her, like their relationship was not good. So Nathaniel also was a gun fanatic. He took pictures with the guns and he really liked because he was security. So he was like, taking pictures with guns or whatever. That was his deal. So police did go talk to Ermelinda. But in a lot of the cam, I see that they're saying your wife, but they're not married and they're not in a relationship. They're
not in a relationship?
I mean, they're not married. They're
legally.
Just legally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they live together.
Okay. So maybe more like a common law marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you might hear me say his wife or whatever, but they're not.
Just significant other, I guess.
Yeah. When they go to talk to her, she was surprised. And then the police said, hey, we just have a few questions. There's something. So when you see the camera, you notice que Nathaniel is home. So you see the black SUV que está estacionada. Y luego ya se paran ahí, les dice, hey, we're just wanting to talk to you, just ask a few questions. They thought that she was in danger. So she's like, well, let me go get my jacket. So when she goes inside to go get her jacket, Nathaniel se está yendo de la casa. And he looks straight at her and you can see that she was worried about something porque se le quedó viendo. Like como que él estaba diciendo algo with his eyes, right? So investigators did tell her, so we want to discuss a murder with you. This is what she said, and I quote, who murdered someone is what she asks. And they go on to tell her that they have possession of some information that they want to discuss with her in some messages, right? It seems like someone could have been very upset at the victim and maybe her I guess, partner could have something to do with it. At this point, they're not telling her that they're in a relationship, right? So they ask her if they can speak to her privately. And she's like, yeah. So se suben al carro and onto the patrol car. And she's like, actually, can we drive away from here? Let's go to the park. So according to what they were trying to do was que ella no mirara a Nathaniel if he would walk out again or anything like that, kind of take her away from the situation. And then the detective says, we just wanted to talk to you alone. We're not, we just want to know what's going on. So they start by telling her, how do you feel? Are you scared? What do you feel? And she's like, I'm okay. She said that the only reason that she was scared or that she was surprised when they got there was because when she was on the phone with Nathaniel, when he was on the way home, he could hear people screaming at him to stop the car. Apparently, another cop had tried to stop Nathaniel to question because they had found some text messages that were kind of concerning on the phone. And so then she said, it's because they were following him and he was calling me, telling me, they're following me. So I didn't know what was going on. So ella se preocupó. And then she says que se cortó la llamada, but then he got home. Okay. They asked her, hey, so did you know anything about these messages or do you know anything about the person? And she's like, no, I had no idea. And she's like, I just found out that he was having an affair right now. So they're like, so you didn't know that he was with Zoraida? And she's like, no. And then the cop is like, she's like, I know her name because she kept calling him. And I could see what that name was. Yeah. So she busts out crying. She goes on to tell the detectives that she has no idea that once again Nathaniel was having an affair and that she just had found out that moment, right? They asked her when was the last time that he had an affair, and she said, well, she had to think, girl. She was like, well, he had his son. They've been together 8 years, so he was supposed to stop cheating.
So she was trying to do the math.
Yeah. And then she said, but no, wait, then there's in 2019.
Oh, shit.
He cheated again at a house party.
Oh, my God.
And then she goes on to tell them how he kept telling her that he was going to stop cheating, but he didn't. Then police asked her, okay, so what do you do when you find out that he's cheating? Do you argue with him? Do you get upset? Oh, no, I'm too old for that. She's like, I'm 50. I don't want to argue. And so they're like, okay, so does he own any guns? And she says, no. She's like, but he is in an airsoft team in Milwaukee, which I had no idea what an airsoft was. It's actually a gun that you build. That's what my husband said. So that's what it is. And he's in a team and he drives to Milwaukee to, I guess, shoot them or whatever. Kind of like a paintball kind of thing, I guess. I don't know, but that's what it is, according to my husband. She then said that she was positive that he didn't have any guns. And then, but she did mention that they go to the shooting range and that they would both shoot. And then they asked her, okay, well, do you have a license to carry? She says, I have one, but he does not. Okay. And then they ask her, well, do you own guns? And she says, yes, I own guns, but he does not. So then she goes on to saying the same thing. She's never seen Zoraida. She doesn't know what she looks like.
She's seen the name.
She's just seen the name because of the long last name. Right. Yeah. Police starts telling her, well, we asked your husband if he knew her. And your husband says no. What? And so they're like, so do you know why? And so this is when she started having a hard time and then she wanted to cry. She's like, please don't tell him that I told you that I knew who she was.
Right. I'm confused.
So they're trying to get her to talk about who Zoraida was and if they had any relation, if they had gotten into a fight, right? So the cop is trying to ask her information, but they're saying, well, whenever we asked your husband immediately, he said that he didn't know who that was. Okay. So they're kind of trying to confuse her,
But did he say that or they were just fucking with her?
I don't know if there's a record of that. Pero at that moment, that's what the cop said. Entonces ella, she starts freaking out and she starts crying. And they ask her, are you afraid? Are you scared of him? And she's like, no, I'm not afraid. I'm okay. And they're like, so why are you crying? She's like, I'm just scared because I don't know what's going on, according to her. So then they ask her, okay, so where were you and him on Friday? Because remember, we talked about how the time frame was Saturday to Sunday morning. And she said Friday night they were home and that they were drinking all night on Friday night and that they woke up on Saturday and that they had drank a lot so that they slept most of the day. But then she brings something up that was like, what? She says, but he sleeps in the garage.
¿Qué es perro? ¿Qué verdad?
And they're like, why does he sleep in the garage? No, y le dijo el cop, is there a bed in there? What is it? And she was all like, well, that's not something that we're here for. So she didn't explain why he slept in the garage.
But you said it.
Exactly. So then they're like, he says that he's more comfortable there. Okay. Whatever. Okay. So then she says when they last woke up after that she went to Ross, being Barbie, in the Ross, and that they went to go get food and that they went back to sleep. And then they ask her, okay, so did somebody hear, could have anybody heard him? Because if you're saying you're kind of drunk, did anybody else hear him get up in the middle of the night
and leave
or anything? And she's like, no, my daughter said that he was snoring. Everybody could hear because the front door is kind of hard to open. So when you open, it's going to make noise. So everybody's going to be able to hear.
Yeah.
So,
but how do they know he was snoring? They want to go check on him in the garage?
Because the garage door was open according to her.
Okay.
And that night they had been playing video games y que se había quedado dormido con la door open.
Okay.
According to her. Mm-hmm. So then she says, yeah. And so they asked her, are you covering for him? And she says, no, even my daughter said that he was home. That's what she said. At this point, así quedó. They let her go. She's not under arrest, whatever. So this is when the detective work began. With Ring cameras and cameras around the neighborhood, they were able to pinpoint the black GMC Denali that this guy drives. Nathaniel drives. So he was driving it in between Streamwood, Illinois, which is where they live, all the way to Zoraida's home.
In Romeoville.
So they were able to see the truck all the way over there.
Yeah.
And it was around the time of the massacre. Mm-hmm. So at this point, they're like, okay, now we have a suspect. We need to go and, compare the vehicle, whatever it is. And they compared the vehicle and it was registered to him. Now Nathaniel is the main suspect, for real. The next day, Ermelinda's family received a strange text message from Ermelinda. And the text message said, this was on September 19th of 2023, around 4:30 is what her daughter says.
PM?
Yeah, PM. And she says that she wrote, take care of my grandbabies. That night, her family was able to follow her movements hasta que eventually her phone got turned off and there was nowhere
to track her.
So the family filed a missing persons report and they hired a lawyer because they were like, okay, something's going on. My mom, she's obviously with Nathaniel or something's going on. They were starting to worry about her. So Ermelinda's daughter said that the reason she was worried was because Nathaniel was being so paranoid a lot before all of this started happening. Mm-hmm. So she kept saying that somebody was watching him. He kept saying somebody was constantly following him. And he went as far as taping the doorbell camera y también the light on the TV.
Oh.
That red light?
Yeah. Like when you turn it off?
Yeah, because decía que they were watching him. And that's why he had moved into the garage. Because he started getting paranoid y decía que lo andaban siguiendo.
So sleeping in the garage was a new thing?
Was a new thing, yeah. Also, he had a trouble pass. So they actually had released a court order against him. So he could not own a gun. Mm-hmm. So if he had a gun,
he was going to get arrested.
He needed to be arrested and he was violating that court order.
Yeah.
Therefore, Ermelinda's children were worried, yeah, about her because he had been acting weird.
And then with everything else going on, him being a suspect or a person of interest.
So the hunt was on now. They thought that they had left. They were like, okay, so se la llevó and they're leaving the state or even the country. You never know. So the next day, on September the 20th of 2023, police found the victim. Ermelinda and Nathaniel at Walmart in Casoosa, Catoosa, Oklahoma.
Oh.
Catoosa?
Oh, I don't know, girl.
I don't know. And the cameras show that they're walking through the store and they're just laughing.
Como si nada.
Holding hands, walking.
Like it didn't look like she was in distress.
She did not look like she was in distress. She did not look like she was held against her. That was my next line. Ermelinda did not look like she was being held against her will at all. Once they paid, they even joked around with the lady from the front door because she had gotten makeup and then she was like going back and forth. Like she was at the makeup section. Like, what the fuck? And when they walked out, the biggest thing is that you see that Nathaniel smiles at the camera. Like a big smile. You can see his white teeth.
I see like a Colgate smile.
Colgate smile, bitch. Like it was a big smile. They walk towards the truck. They go on to leave. Outside, the officers were already waiting for them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, Oklahoma's not playing. They started to run They were like driving really fast and erratically.
Why you run?
No.
Why you running?
They ran. So they were like going high-speed chase at this point.
En pata.
No. In the truck.
In the car?
Mm-hmm. Y entonces, in the black SUV. And while they were there, he did crash his truck. And it burst into flames.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm, in the median. So it went, se pegó, it started bursting into flames y todo el pinche pedo se empezó a quemar. You then hear the cops screaming at him because you hear a first gunshot. So at that first gunshot, he actually shot Ermelinda in the head and killed her. Then he tried to shoot himself, pero he missed.
What?
Yeah. So then he tried again, and the second time he shot himself in the head as well.
Oh my God.
So the truck is burning, bitch.
Yeah, y ellos están adentro?
Ellos están adentro. Still at this point, the cops are like, Ermelinda needs help.
Yeah, they don't know that she's deceased.
They don't know that she's deceased.
They just think that he shot her.
They shot her. So they take her out of the car. They try to help him out, but they couldn't get him out because haz de cuenta que la truck estaba on the median. So they couldn't open the door.
Okay,
he
estaba
deceased.
atorado.
Yeah, he deceased immediately.
He deceased?
I mean, he died immediately. Sorry. And so then they took Ermelinda out of the vehicle y la acostaron. Then they started working on her. Unfortunately, the next day she did pass away at the hospital. At this point, we're like, okay, so then what happened?
What is going on?
What is
like,
going
so
on? This is so confusing, especially for the family, de Zoraida
and everybody involved.
Yeah, everybody. So this is where it starts to get interesting. With the closer investigation, law enforcement finds out that there's some interesting information that we should be aware of. So the police, it took over a year for them to unravel that the true mastermind of the massacre was actually Ermelinda.
What? That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Yes. Everything began in December 2021.
Okay.
Ermelinda
so like a year and a half before everything happened?
Ermelinda started to use a whole bunch of fake accounts, fake phone numbers, and she started to use apps, and she would like check on her like man's like cell phones and records and stuff like that. And so then at that point, she started to put together a world that you're never going to imagine, Estela.
What the fuck does she think she's in fucking, what is this, Roblox or qué verga?
She actually started to... Minecraft. She actually started to make a world to where she was telling or talking to Nathaniel, and she was telling him that she was a part of the Bulgarian criminal organization, a cartel.
Like a mafia.
A mafia.
Yeah. Pero she was pretending to be somebody else?
Yes. She was pretending pretending to be a woman that she started talking to him online.
She was catfishing her own man.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To see if he would cheat on her?
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
So at first, it started as not Estela scratching her head.
I'm like, what is going on?
At first, it started as if she was using different personas. Like it would be like one woman and then another woman. And the thing is, Nathaniel, he would talk to apparently
he didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck. According to what she was trying to do, it seemed like the conversations that were going, she was trying to keep him from cheating and interested in her.
By cheating with the people that she was pretending to be? Well, I guess they're like just through online, right? Just
exactly.
Okay. It's not physically cheating.
At one point, she ends up telling him that this person, whoever it is that she made up, was the criminal boss, and le dijo que she was a part of the cartel y que she needed to stop cheating on her husband. I mean, on his wife or woman, and she forbade him from seeing other women.
But this strange woman that you're talking to on the internet is telling you that I'm part of, like, let's say, Bulgarian mafia, I could decir. And I know that you have a wife, a partner.
Yeah.
And I know that you're cheating on her. Mm-hmm. So I need you to stop cheating on her. Or if not, I'm going to get all my connections to come after you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's trying to be a girl's girl.
Yes.
Okay.
And not only that, but she also would tell the cartel, I don't know what to call them. She would tell Nathaniel that she needed to have more sex with her.
With his wife.
Yeah. And also please her sexually.
Oh.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah. And to be loyal to her. So I know, but it's about to get crazier. So over time, she made him believe that he was consistently being watched by dangerous people.
Oh.
So even her own daughter said that he had pushed everybody away. Remember that I mentioned the whole thing about him going to the garage?
Mm-hmm.
He even had secluded himself in the garage. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He was scared. And he was fully consumed and believed that he was being watched at all times. So Ermelinda took it to another level. Because you would think this is another level, but it gets worse. No.
What?
On September the 14th of 2023, okay, this is a little bit before the murders, one of the cartel bosses, and I'm putting up quotes, I'm putting up air quotes, said that there was a mole in the cartel and that he needed to eliminate her and that mole was Zoraida. So he needed to eliminate Zoraida and her family because around this time, this is when he started, when she found out that he was cheating with Zoraida.
So, wait. So she made him believe that Zoraida was also part of the...
Yes. And that she was a danger to him or ¿cómo se le llama? An op. Como dicen, like a
mission.
A mission that he needed to get rid of her and her family. So
if not, he was going to pay for it or something?
Yeah. Nathaniel had been cheating, as we know,
con Zoraida
for a few months. And so she had already been going through his phone and he finds out. Now, Nathaniel needed to kill Zoraida and her family since they were the enemy of Nathaniel. And he needed to prove his loyalty to this cartel. Okay? So the bosses insisted that her and her family should be eliminated. And that person, the bosses, introduced Nathaniel to a killer that was going to help him plan the hit. Let me tell you his name. Turtle.
This is not real.
I'm telling you.
This is not real.
I'm telling you. So Turtle, I'm not.
Ninja?
I don't know.
Is his last name Ninja?
I'm not sure. So Turtle was going to show him how he was going to plan to kill her. And I have evidence.
No, not you. I have the evidence.
I have the evidence because I screenshotted this so that you could see it because I knew that you were going to be like, there's no way. Look, and I'm showing Estela. I guess this is what was released. And this is what Turtle... Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh because it's not funny. But Turtle was going to show him... this is her, the exchange between Nathaniel and Turtle to be able to get everything together for
the mission.
The mission. Yeah, or for the
hit.
The hit, yeah.
It's like I guess if you want to call it an itinerary of some sorts.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a breakdown of literally by the second, by the minute of what needs to take place. And it says here, fake cartel reassured Nathaniel. Actual text messages. Oh, these are text messages. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So they had been messaging
back and forth.
I really don't know.
I'll post this. Send it to me.
I really don't know exactly what they would use, what form of messaging.
Maybe WhatsApp.
I'm not sure what it was. After this happened, he was ready. He's ready to go. So the day of the murders, he then called sick to work that day and he started to set up the plan. And like I said, word by word, Turtle told him what to do. And he went as far as checking out the cameras that were around there. And even they were checking out the vacant house that was behind.
Wow. So it was literally,
house.
He made it like a whole operation.
And even there, if you can read, it says on there, make it look like it's a burglary.
Yeah.
So that was their plan. They were going to make it look like it was a burglary.
They did not make it look like it was a burglary. Or robbery.
He then called, then at this point, it's September the 17th, with walkie-talkies. Around 3 a.m., Ermelinda drove Nathaniel. Listen to what I said. Ermelinda drove Nathaniel with walkie-talkies talking to him, okay, to the home of Zoraida's family, where he got the 9mm handgun and he cut the window screens and went inside the house. He went in through the back door. I think that Alberto around that time was getting ready for work because remember he went in at 6 a.m. I think that's what he was doing and that's why he was not in the room. And then he shot him several times, then went to the bedroom where Zoraida, like we mentioned before, was trying to hold the door closed.
Right.
He actually shot through the door and he
shot her.
He was able to hurt her. Yeah. And then he went after the 2 boys and then the family dogs.
Wow.
He in total shot everyone. He shot in the house more than 20 times.
Wow.
Because I'm telling you, whenever I was looking at the case pictures, se le parecía que había llovido casings. Like there was casings everywhere. Then he staged the scene as Turtle told him to, right? And it was supposed to be a robbery gone wrong. After the murders, Nathaniel, he fucked up. So after the murders, Nathaniel texted the cartel boss.
What number was he texting?
Or like a message.
Yeah.
Me imagino.
Yeah.
And reporting the killings. Le dijo que ya.
Wow. I can't.
No, I know.
No, I know he did it and, fuck him. But he had been brainwashed by his live-in girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. So then les dijo, but guess what? I forgot to grab the cell phones. Pues no hizo bien lo que le dijo Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, it's fine. It's going to be fine. You're not going to get caught. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, my whole deal, Estela, is, do you remember that? I don't know if you were into the whole, who the fuck did I marry? Do you remember that? That girl that was on
I saw breakdowns of it.
So
yeah.
The guy would talk to himself.
On the phone, pretending to be on the phone?
I'm thinking that's what I'm seeing here because he would message the cartel people and Hermelinda le estaba contestando de allá, Estela. I don't...
But he didn't know. I wonder, did he think that he told her, hey, I need you to drive me here? How did he get her to be involved?
But let me tell you. So you would think there's no way that this guy would believe that shit, right? No, he actually did believe it.
No, I believe that he believed it.
Because, let me tell you why. Before he went on the run, he did confess to his mom what he had done.
And how everything came to be, kind of like a little...
Yes. And he told them, and his mom said, why did you do that? And he told his mom, there's people after me.
I believe that he believed it.
He wholeheartedly believed somebody was after him. Right? Y luego, this was really sad. I'm sorry, I have to say it because so that you can see hasta donde le llegó la cabeza. But then when the mom was like, well, why did you kill the children?
Yeah.
And so then
the dogs.
And he said, and I quote, because they were better off dead than alive without parents.
Oh, dude, that's not your decision to make.
No, not even close.
Wow.
And okay, so we're going to go what I'm going to talk about right now is at this point, we know who killed them. We know that Hermelinda had everything to do with it.
She planned it all.
But this is something that had been going on for a while. And I'm going to tell you why. In June of 2023, Zoraida received several messages to stay away from Nathaniel. And she said that they told her, stay away from him. He's going to be a part of a murder investigation. This is what they told her. And you're a bad mother because you're not keeping your children safe.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever this person, which we know now is Hermelinda, because all of this was her.
Yeah.
And then she said she didn't care, that she was going to continue her relationship. Affair. Right? And she also did tell him, you don't know anything about me as a mother or as a person.
I think maybe Hermelinda, obviously she was, like you said, she was talking to Nathaniel, pretending to be these other girls. And cuando he started cheating on her with Zoraida, she, found a way to get him to break it off with her and started implementing the whole story about the cartels or something.
So I think that's what she was trying to do, but it went too far because she didn't think... Well, the thing is, okay, let me finish. So then on June the 27th of 2023, Hermelinda contacted Alberto and was like, hey, your wife is cheating on you, blah, blah, blah. But remember, Alberto already knew.
Yeah.
And he was like...
I mean, maybe not okay with it, but he didn't want to break up the family.
He didn't want to break up his family. Mm-hmm. And whoever contacted him, well, now we know it's Hermelinda, saying, hey, you need to confront your wife. Tell her to stop being with this person. You're a bad person because
you're letting her cheat.
Not only that, but Nathaniel is a dangerous person and he's endangering your family. And telling him that his children were in danger. He never answered or never said anything. Then in July...
Well, I mean, would you? Who the fuck?
But it wasn't a little bit, Estela. Let me finish. So in July of 2023, Alberto is now getting more and more messages to a point where they're more aggressive.
Do you think she was like, damn, well, these people are not doing anything.
Not doing it, exactly.
These people are not doing what I want them to do. They're not stopping the affairs. So I'm going to have to take this a step further. Pero Like, did she think Nathaniel wasn't going to actually do it? Or like, what did she think was going to happen?
I don't know, to be honest. And then the thing is, they started getting more aggressive. And instead of at this point, she's like, your kids are going to die. Like, she's like,
oh my God.
Yeah, like your kids are going to die. She's like telling them whatever. And instead of telling someone or going to the authorities, Alberto just answered them and told them to leave him alone. Just leave me alone. And he also said, and I quote, all he wanted to do was to work and go home to his kids.
Aww.
He said he did not want or needed the drama to leave him alone, right? It seemed like at one point he even did slash Nathaniel's tires. Maybe at one point he was like, hey, dude, please leave my wife alone or please stop cheating. But
or maybe he thought it was Nathaniel behind all of that. And he was like,
you never know.
Yeah.
But then guess what? He felt bad and then he paid for the tires.
Oh, he's so pobre señor, dude. Poor family, honestly. Like, I know, like we're saying, Zoraida, we don't know anything about her. Yeah, she was cheating on her husband, but it doesn't mean she was a bad mom. It doesn't mean that she needed to be killed this way. Like, her whole family.
Not the family.
The whole family's just
not only that,
gone.
Pero he just said, please leave my wife alone. That's all he said.
Yeah, leave us alone.
She didn't stop. Ermelinda didn't stop there. She was getting more and more aggressive, like I said before, and she was threatening the children.
Dude.
And less than 2 weeks before the murders, Alberto got a message saying that this would be the last message and the last time that he was being told to make his wife stop being with Nathaniel. Otherwise, she was the reason that he would have no children.
But dude, like, he can't make his wife do anything. De por sí. What, he wants her to fucking tie her up y que no la deje salir de la casa?
However, nothing was told to the police. And now we're in the situation. Now there's 4 people that passed away.
3 doggies.
3 doggies.
And the other 2 dumbasses.
That didn't even pay for what they did. And
but damn, like, that was cold-blooded. And Nathaniel was like, bye, bitch. And shot her.
Shot her, yeah. And that is the massacre of Romeoville.
I don't know what this was. This was not.
It was a roller coaster.
A real story.
Oh, it's real. And there is proof out there that he thought he was talking to Turtle.
I believe that he believed that there were people after him. Like, I believe that. That doesn't excuse what he did.
Mm-mm. And I mean, and I think, and I saw another person discuss like what the exchanges were. So some of them would be like I said, you need to not cheat on your wife. You need to do this, do that. And it's like, I think that at one point, like, he actually thought that he was going to be, like, he wanted to be in the cartel a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the way, like, if you see him, like, he's a little bit arrogant. Mm-hmm. And so he was probably like, oh, I'm this important.
I'm going to be protected.
I'm going to be protected. Yeah. Because they were asking for his loyalty.
But see, I mean, he believed in that shit.
Pero like, Ermelinda, how fucking far would you fucking take it?
For what?
For what?
Leave the man's. El viejo no te quiere.
No la quiere.
A lo mejor he wants her for her money. I don't know. Maybe she was a sugar mama un poquito. I don't know.
But
it's never that serious. Don't ever be doing this over a person. Don't ever be doing this, period. You know?
I just think that you should just not kill people.
Keep your hands to yourself.
And how about that? But you don't realize...
Value yourself.
But you don't realize... Because probably in her mind, she's like, I'm too far. Like, I can't stop now.
Yes, you can.
But a lot of the catfishing people...
But I mean, you can always, like...
You can always just don't answer. Don't say nothing.
I mean... Like, but when she was like, it's too far gone. I'm like, no, it was never.
No.
You could have stopped up until the night when you drove Nathaniel to the house.
With the walkie-talkies.
With the walkie-talkies.
Yeah. And you acted like you were Turtle.
Like, you could have stopped even then.
Yeah.
And come clean.
Even at that, just been like, hey, you know what?
It was me. I thought you guys were I was gonna get you to stop talking to each other, but you know.
Because she wasn't scared of him. She was not scared of him. Like I said, like you could see in the Walmart, like she's just chilling, fucks. Like no fucks. They're smiling at each other and shit. Like it's a fucking Sunday and you're getting groceries. Like, yeah, that's how it is. After you just killed
the whole family. She killed that family.
She did. Yeah. Yeah. So let us know what you think about this one. I know Estela was scratching her head and shit. Like I knew I was gonna get that reaction, but it was.
I can't believe it. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
poor family.
But please, let us know what you think. And if you would like to follow us on Instagram, you can at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, leave us a review and or rate us. We would really appreciate it. And you can listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
And now on YouTube,
audio only.
Audio only. All right. Well, let us know how you feel. No. Have a good day. Bye.